Ladies and gentlemen, we are so back. Back. Dee-dee-dee-dee. Pew, pew, pew. I think I'm going to work on getting sound effects. But yes, welcome back to the show. Welcome back to Mono Radio. I am your host, George Vumbi, and I'm going to take you through the episode. It's been quite a minute. So much has been brewing left and right, up and down, over and under. Hey, good is good, man. First of all, we thank God for life, for putting us in this position we are today. It's by His graces that we're here. But aside that, what's popping? How are you guys doing? What's going on in your lives? New year, new stuff, new you, new boo, new mannerisms, new behaviors, going to gym, going to, stepping outside your comfort zone, new job, anything new that you're doing to change the old status quo. I think that is a good thing, and may it work out for the best for you and your people or your partner, or yeah, those guys who are also, deciding to go out and find love this year. Valentines just recently got done. Hey, was a bit last weekend was a bit tough for some people. But I am here to encourage my people and to offer you assurances and reassurances that if last weekend wasn't Kawa, next year is our year, which I again next year, and definitely, definitely things will be better. But on that note of Valentine's, I would love to say that the guys who are offering us content, the couples that gave us content, we love to see it and we ride for you. Please continue giving us this content. Yeah, we shall consume it religiously. Back to the main topics. This year has the year started off with quite a bang. Started off in high gear. There were so many things to do, so much to learn, so many new spheres of life to partake in. Yes. So for me, I will I will break it down for you how my January was and the plans and what came to fruition, and we shall go on from there. So for me, my January was quite the short one. I think it is the shortest January I've ever experienced in my life. Usually January has 90 days, and every every day feels like you're going through 3 days. A week feels like 2 months. It's, it's tough, but this one was quite short, being that it was quite busy. So there were so many things that I was working on, and as such, time moves when you have so much to work on. It tends to move fast. And also, I noticed this: if you are working 9 to 5, or if you have a regularly routine job, so it could even be like night shift if you work from 5 p.m. to 1 a.m., or if you just work through the night. The whole point is, in a week, if you do more activities outside that routine, that week will seem shorter also. So if you're working a daytime job at 9 to 5, and every after work you just, let's say, go home, if you maintain that routine for a while, it starts to feel monotonous and nagging, should I say. But if you start doing activities in the week that are non-work activities, the week tends to move faster. So if you have like midweek madness plans, so for example, if you decide to go for like karaoke, or you decide to go karaoke on Tuesday, you decide to go for live bands on Thursday, you decide to go for Kampala Latin nights on Monday, your week will tend to move faster because there are these things that you have to do, and your mentor is also a bit broken out of the routine. So you have something to look forward to other than your normal routine. There's no problem with having a normal routine. I mean, if it makes you happy, you you can do that. You can do that. So that's what I learned mostly from January. So if you're really struggling with um, routines, I think you should just, or burnout, because routines are like the first step into burnout. If you could try doing stuff outside your routine, and it will perhaps help, and you won't feel as tired all the time or stressed out by work or nagged by work. Yeah, January for me, I had there was so much to learn. So in January, I did my first YouTube musical show. This is called Acoustic Sessions. It is out on YouTube on this channel. Please check it out after listening to this episode. Even if you give me a minute, I will definitely appreciate it. Even a few seconds, I will definitely appreciate it. So this was a very, very big learning avenue for me, and this is a project that I had set out to do since okay, I had started working on it in 2024. I would I did at least what I thought. I I made plans what I thought the show would be and how to execute and whatnot. And the reality of it is a bit different. And in the whole period, I learned something about events and events management and organization and working with artists and service providers. So I learned to extend grace to events people because, first of all, they are. I learned that most of what they do is justified. For example, high ticket prices, especially in the current economy, it is very hard to do an event and ticket. In this context, I am talking about like concerts. In this particular context, I'm talking about concerts. It's very hard to do concerts, and prices are not in the range of 100K. And I mean for general admission, like for general, if you are in the general area, 100K, which is expensive, definitely. But if you look at what goes into the organization of the event and trying to piece all these things together, then you actually get insight into how some of these things work. So, for example, did you know that all artists, all performers are supposed to be paid upfront before fully, and I mean like paid fully upfront before they actually like get on stage to do what they've been hired for? I didn't. That was something that I learned during the course of this. So many times you will find that if you're going to book an artist, when you book them, you make a down payment, and then after making a down payment, in the week of the event, or in the days leading to the event, you have to finish up your payments. Otherwise, they will not step on stage. And I think we have seen some of these things in our events, and usually the revelers and the audience is like, this artist did come on stage, paid our money, and such things. But usually there are, if it doesn't happen, if the artist doesn't get paid in due time, then they will not perform. So that goes for artists like the musicians. It can go for other performers, like, let's say, the artist's entourage, like bands, um, guitarists, drummers, percussionists, the people that you might see on stage. And that it just doesn't stop on artists and performers. It extends to service providers. So, for example, in a concert, there are things, there are service providers, like someone putting together a concert may not own everything. So you will hire someone to do the stage for you, to design the stage for you, do to arrange this, to rig. They call it rigging. Yes. So there is a team that is doing, or like someone who owns rigging equipment. They are going to build the stage for you. There is a service provider for lights. There is a service provider for sound. There is a service provider for all these other things that you, the average concert attender, might not even notice. So there's a venue itself. So some of these, what I've learned is those other service providers might be a little lenient, but still, most of the times when these contracts are drawn, there is actual drawing of contracts. So if you mess up, you can actually get legally, you can be in some deep waters. Things can be tied for you. But mine wasn't to the level of um, concert, though I learned through the process. Mine was a show at home, music in the home setting, trying to be cozy and, you know, for it's the idea would be somewhat of a small, mini, tiny concert in your home setting for the family, for your family. So I did that, and prior to this, there is so much that I learned. There are so many people and entities doing live shows in one form or the other. And please take time to watch it. Take time to watch these people's content and appreciate, have an appreciation for them. I think the biggest we have in Uganda is Tasker Conversations. Special shout outs to those guys, because it's a lot of work that goes into that 40-minute, 50-minute episode, and it is quite impressive what they come up with. So special shout outs to those guys, the big ones in the world, on a large scale level, like NPR Tiny Desk. There is Colors Show, and others. There are other shows, live shows, that musical shows that really have good content, and they do things differently. So you always have something to say about it. So you have a minute, spend your time on YouTube. So um, I understand there's people like me who, like, YouTube is part of your daily life. So when you're taking breakfast, you're watching a YouTube video. When you're having lunch, you're watching a YouTube video. When you are at work, you have your picture in picture. So there's people who are chronically online. If you are one of those, please, and you're interested in the music, please take time and watch them. I feel like it is good for people to get to experience some of these things. Yeah, but for me, I what I learned in the process was I produced, directed, and edited the show, the video, you could say. So there was a bit of, not a bit, there was learning for me in sound. So special shout out to my sound engineer, Mr. Ali. He was a sound engineer. I did sound mixing. I didn't know anything about sound mixing. So I was sweating in Logic and Ableton, but I managed to get something out of it. And also special shout outs to Alan. He was my director of photography. I learned a lot from him and in collaboration with him. Please give these guys your gigs. He's one of the really good photographers that I know in Kampala. Guys, please check out AA Concepts on your social medias. AA Concepts, like double AA Concepts. Yeah, he's a really good photographer. So and he does really good work. Check him out. So after shooting, we I did the sound mixing and editing, and that was I had an insight into producer like what producer a song would typically go through. I wasn't producing a song, but I mean the experiences are a bit aligned. So I have newfound respect and interest in the work that these producers do. I think many of them, especially in our local markets, they go unnoticed. They go unnoticed. So special shout outs to all the producers giving us the bangers here in Kampala and to the world over. We actually, me personally, I have an appreciation for the work that you do. Yeah. Then editing, you that can be it, but it is also a learning process. It's a process in storytelling, which with time I definitely will get better at. Yeah, I I put out the show, I edited and finished all these things, and then it came to the upload. So it was a musical show, and there was a performer called Tunchu, and she was the vocalist, and another performer called Metro, he was the guitarist. They were performing songs that I do not own. They are more popular songs. So when it came to the upload, I the target of the project was to upload it to YouTube and have something there. So during the upload process on YouTube, I was hit with copyright notices and whatnot. So every time we talk about copyright, we talk about it loosely. And I think most of the times people just throw around these words. But for content creators, they have a little bit more knowledge on what copyright is, and or maybe the platforms they use have obscured some of this stuff away from them. So, what is copyright in this particular case? Google defines copyright as the exclusive and the assignable legal rights given to the originator for a fixed number of years to print, publish, perform, film, or record literary, artistic, or musical material. What does that mean in this particular case? I was the people performers did songs that they do not own. So those songs have owners, and those owners own the copyright to those songs, meaning other people, or meaning those owners define how non-owners of those songs use or get to interact with those songs. In this particular case, YouTube has a system of identifying copyrighted content. So the average, how can I say, when you post content to YouTube, YouTube has a system called Content ID that goes through the content that you're trying to upload, be it a video or an audio. They go through it and they analyze it to find or check if there is any copyrighted content in what you're trying to upload. So when they do, and when you're uploading and they find like a piece of the material you've uploaded has copyrighted content, they will block the upload until those copyright issues are resolved. How are they resolved? This is usually typically defined in a few ways. So YouTube can either block you from completely uploading whatever you're trying to upload, or they can tell you to edit through the YouTube editor. They can tell you to edit out or cut out those parts that contain copyrighted content. Yeah. Or they may allow you to move on with the the, the upload but containing copyrighted content. Now, I would like to talk about that last step. That last step of where they allow you to move on. At that point, the copyright owner or the copyright holder defines how the copyright shall be used or shall shall be enforced, I should say. For this particular context, they were songs. So usually copyright owners are like labels. So what they will do is they most of the time they will demonetize. YouTube will demonetize your video. So if your video goes on to be published, you will not make a cent from it. Also, if let's say you getting your monetization from views or yes, in this context, views, and you will get 1 million views, and there's some money you're supposed to get off of YouTube from the number of views, then by demonetizing you, all the money that you would have gotten from that video will go to the copyright holder. Another way is the copyright holder can decide to run ads through your video. So this, yes, they won't put it in your video, but as your video is playing, they will run their ads, and you can't stop that. Yes. Then the last way is at that point, the copyright holder may completely refuse to move ahead. So in this particular on this particular note, I would like to present context from APAS. Recently, APAS had a concert and he did a very, very beautiful concert. And he came out on the socials and said you can post whatever videos you recorded that day of the concert on any other social medias except YouTube. Why? For him, it was because he wants to protect his brand image and he wants to bring out the best content from that event. So you'll find that many copyright holders hold their copyright or enforce their copyright strictly in order to protect their brand, which is something that it is justified. They are justified completely, and that is okay. So, um, me, I also learned through this process. I learned how copywriting works and why different things work a certain way. You see DJs uploading their mixes to YouTube, but sometimes, uh, most times, those videos are monetized. They're demonetized, and you find that DJs have to go to other platforms. So, for example, like Mixcloud, that's where you will find most DJs posting their mixes, because on YouTube, most times getting your mix out there is problematic. Yes, but yes, it was a bit of a learning avenue for me, and I appreciate, and I am doing. At least I know how to handle these things. So on other platforms, you might not find copyright restrictions as tightly. So, for example, Instagram, well, like when it comes to music, so like Instagram, uh, Twitter, TikTok, those are the platforms themselves are already in agreements with the copyright holders, which are in this case labels, the music labels, to be able to provide their content free for you, the user, but the the platform itself has to find a way to remit something to the label. Away from that, January had CES 2025. CES. So CES is the Consumer Electronics Show for those who are unaware, and it is a show which is a sort of gala or expo for technology companies all over the world to exhibit their latest and greatest stuff, and also products they hope or they plan on releasing in the new year. So CES always happens in at the beginning of the year in January, and it always happens in Las Vegas. So if you ever get a ticket, please go through. But the biggest and even the smallest, some of the smallest tech companies in the world are always exhibiting something there. What's what you should know is most of the time this the stuff exhibited at CES is conceptual work that has been realized to the to the physical level or whatever level, but might not make it to production. So it is work that was theoretical and they managed to pull off something, but it might not scale to fully be reach the user, the end user. Yeah. So how you may ask how this concerns the average Ugandan. I mean, there is always that tech world moves so fast. There is always something new. These guys are innovating at light speed. There is always something new, something press something to grab your attention. So you need to be informed per se that you can learn whether there is a new technology going to beat air fryers. I don't understand. There is an insane obsession with air fryers lately, and I don't know if I am bothered or um I don't know how to. I think it's interesting how they work. I I think it's a good thing, but like people are so obsessed with it. It is nah nah time out. Anyway, from CES, some of the most interesting new things for me or conceptual stuff from that was displayed is there is a company called BYD. They released a car called the Yangwang E09, and this car detects potholes ahead by a few meters, and they were saying it could jump. When it detects a pothole, it can jump a distance of over 6 meters. Yeah. So it's not going to jump like a normal human being, obviously, but as it's moving, it will, you know, bump up and then jump over the pothole. Guys, I'm imagining if this car was brought here in Kampala. Guys who live in Nigeria, guys who live in industrial area, but every 2 meters you're going to be, you might as well just fly to Kampala because what is this? Like this wouldn't, I guess this wouldn't apply to the context of a Uganda because our roads are so bad. They're in the trenches. Speaking of flying, there is another company. I think this one is called Aero something. They are called, yeah, they are called Expeng Motors. They did a car called the Aero HT, and for it, that one just legit flies. So when you're tired of driving, you can, I don't know, switch to like helicopter mode and just start flying. I don't. Why is there so much innovation around flying cars? And for me, it doesn't make sense. Like a car should be a car, and flying should be flying. Mixing the two, I don't know. That's just me in any case. So all these innovations, unfortunately, for the context of the average Ugandan, they don't make much sense. They don't. But this is this is innovation, and I, I think it's good to innovate because it can lead to other things that might be beneficial. Other stuff from CES that was interesting. There is a company called Kirin. They did an electric salt spoon. So when you take food with this spoon, you can press a button and there will be an electric current straight through the food that is on the spoon, and it will make it taste saltier. So I guess if saltier feels like better taste, or feels like it is tastier to you, then this might apply to you. But then, lastly, my one thing that I really again found a bit bizarre but really interesting, really innovative, was there is this company that did something called a flint paper battery. So it's a Singaporean company. They did a battery out of what would be like paper, and it has cellulose as the transfer, the medium between the cathode and anode. This is technical, but if you know of lithium, normal batteries like your phone battery or your laptop battery, they are lithium ion batteries, and they with time they become less performant. So this is targeted to be a little more sustainable and even more affordable. I think that is good and really innovative stuff. My issue though is, as these companies are innovating, there is so much of everything being rotated around artificial intelligence. I understand the need to move with the latest trends and what is currently happening, and being on there's a word for it, fast move. I think it's called fast movers advantage or something. But my issue is, especially when it comes to creatives and um, innovation around the creative industry, I believe AI should be simplifying work or simplifying tasks, but not taking away from the things and activities or the stuff that really makes us human. So there is, I think, currently a large amount of the content going around on the internet is artificially generated content, and I I mean, personally, I don't agree with it, but again, I can't fight it. There are so many people that are using these things. I will What I will say on that is, let the creatives remain creatives. So things like art, um, any form of art style, things like writers. I I find that there is something human that those people offer that a machine can't offer. There is a company in China. There is a company in China that has done something where they offer artificial intelligence agents to people in the form of partners. So you you find that, and the especially the women in China are eating this up. They are like, you talk to this machine, it is going to be like your perfect boyfriend, since it knows you, it knows what you like, it knows what you don't like, it knows you in and out because you tell it everything. And they are saying it is better than connecting with actual men. And hey man, that is a hard paper. That is a hard paper. But this is, I really have a problem with this. I don't know if it is because I just find it disturbing, but or because I find that the dystopian future that has been shown to us in movies is seems a little bit closer than objects in the mirror, closer than they appear. So I it is so much. There is so much AI everywhere. It is so much. Like, it is even in the microwaves, it is in the fridges, it is in the bicycles, it is in the flasks, it is in the, hey man. is everywhere. I feel like we should take a step back and first reassess this situation with artificial intelligence. It can do some things, yes, and it does them brilliantly well, but man, like, let it not take away what makes us human, and we can figure out the rest from there. Yeah, I, let's keep what makes us human and away from AI. Trump was re-elected into government, and it has been quite. The United States has been going into. They have been. I don't know if I can even quantify what they are going through right now. They are in a state of unsurety. Like, you don't know, tomorrow something may come up, and if you are unprepared, you might as well. Tomorrow might be your last day. First and foremost, there are these airplane accidents. These guys have so many. They have had so many airplane accidents in the recent past, and there have been so many aeroplane accidents in the recent past. This brings me back to the the Boeing situation that happened last year around the end of, for until I think for the longest part of the year, there were there were Boeing employees who were whistleblowing and saying Boeing is like make releasing uh, airplanes that have faults, and that is a security risk, man. And then all these whistleblowers turned out dead, conspiracy theories left and right, and now planes are, you know, crashing on each other, uh, crash landing, planes are failing to take off. It is so much that is going on. Some things have to be realigned, and also DOGE. I think I think this is one of the for the for the for the American people, from the perspective of an American, a non-American looking inside. I think DOGE is one of the best incentives they have out right now. The Department of Government Efficiency. I think they are they they are doing what is needed. This auditing is, it is. I think we should borrow. The Ugandan government should borrow a leaf and establish the department, because first of all, those guys cut off aid to foreign countries so that they can reassess where their taxpayers' money is going. That is in itself a very, very justified reason for doing something like that. I would like to sympathize with the people in Uganda who were working directly, or whose work was directly attached or tied to USAID in a way. I hope you guys figure it out. I mean, losing jobs, USAID was feeding families. There are people who work there and they have families to feed and they have people to take care of. So I sympathize with you. But I believe this is giving our governments a chance to reassess their priorities and give priority to things like healthcare. For the longest time, our doctors have been writing that they have been poorly paid or and go months without pay. And now we have the situation of patients of HIV and AIDS that directly benefit from USAID because they get medication, and now that has been cut off. I think the government has to reassess our budget priorities and take care of. this more, because if if not, really, we are going to see the rise of HIV and AIDS back up. And I mean, this wasn't the only thing that USAID was taking care of. They were taking care of in in collaboration with other NGOs. They were taking care of people in refugee camps and whatnot. Albeit they were benefiting some way or another, who knows? But they were offering help. So the government needs to reassess that and make sure that the healthcare the average Ugandan is taken care of. I mean, it is sorted in a way. And also, these guys, in one of the hearings, they uncovered that the US had been funding terrorism and uh, terrorist activities. And the case in point was Boko Haram in Nigeria. So, if you, for the longest time, there have been talks and conspiracy theories about the US being a disruptor of governments and funding a big funder of terrorism to all these other countries, especially in different spaces like the Middle East, Africa, and wherever. It has been a conspiracy theory until recently when the Department of Government Efficiency uncovered this. So it's no longer a conspiracy. It is actually true. And it's not a good look, really. It's not a good look on those guys. And I I understand the need to I understand where there is a need now more than ever to get rid of or to do away with neo-colonialism, because it is it's very, very damaging. So I for those who remember the Boko Haram situation where they were taking torturing people, taking girls in Nigeria, it was a very, very bad time, man. It was very disheartening, and it's even sad to find out that the US is funding these things, they're funding these activities. If they can fund terrorism, who knows what 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 else they can do? It could be worse. I mean, the 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 Department of Government Efficiency is just like scratching the surface. I believe if they are to continue, there is so much that is going to be uncovered that will be damaging to the I guess the reputation of the country, or just to the reputation of the people. And for people who have biases against the American people, this is just going to fuel those biases. So for example, like now the people who lost people in terrorism that was funded by it is a bit sad. It's really a bit sad. And away from that, uh, it's very, very sad. Something that I really find disturbing in the recent past. There was a lady. I don't know, man, what the world is coming to, but there was a lady recently. I think it was 1 or 2. I think they were trying to break like world records. First of all, I think Guinness should first time out on what can be a world record. They should put limits to that. Some things shouldn't be world records, really. Like it shouldn't. I'm not saying like Guinness funded this, or they encouraged this, or they condoned this. I am not I'm not saying they did. But I think as the organization or the body that defines what a world record is. I think they should come and help us define what should and shouldn't be a world record. For example, this lady that took to bed 1,000 men, she recently revealed that she's pregnant. No, no, guys, dog. When when does shame come back into the picture? When does shame come back into the picture? Food for thought. When does shame come back into the picture? 2025 is really going to be, you know, make it or break it kind of year. If I need to, we need to make it one way or the other. So whoever is doing something that is getting you out of your comfort zone, whoever is trying something new, whoever is taking on a new challenge, whoever is reforming from something that was bad to get back into the path, people who are getting back to their religion, people who are looking for partners, people who are, you know, making decisions. I hope it all works out in your favor. And this has been episode 9 of Mono Radio. Thank you for listening. Have a good one. Peace.